Oh, yeah. What up, y'all? It's your boy, the one and only A Switch, aka the 80-time social distancing champion, aka the mustached marauder, aka the nightly Negro. Bringing you yet another episode of Switches Sights. Number 60 to be exact. We getting up there. Today's date is June 18th, 2020. For those that may not know, Switches Sights podcast is a podcast based, or let me rephrase that. I don't know why I have to think about it so hard. The gaming podcast, solo gaming podcast based on all of that and just that gaming pretty much for the most part. So yeah. Actually not really a necessarily eventful week, but some interesting tidbits came out at least specifically EA Play. We'll definitely dive into that, as well as the Cyberpunk Delay. I think that's essentially the news for this week, at least that caught my attention personally. But yeah. We still thriving. The world is still in this weird pandemic. And, racism, of course, which is, always been there, but now it's just been brought further to our attention. But you already know that. I don't even have to explain that. Hopefully I shouldn't in general, but I digress. Let's stop the dilly-dallying and get right into it. So, of course, EA Play had their event today. Actually, kind of went over my time when I normally would stream, but had to deal with some other stuff anyway. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just watch that first before doing that. I guess on top of not being much content in general anyway. So it kind of worked out regardless. So, yeah. So I guess, since we have the time, we'll fully divulge into at least definitely the interesting stuff. But the first aspect, well, I mean, of course, EA stayed safe and, made their statement about, COVID-19 and, of course, Black Lives Matter, which they should. And then pretty much after that, they went into Apex Legends. I think they revealed a new hero. I forgot the terminology they use for Apex. I think it's hero. Apex. I want to say hero. Yeah, I think it's hero. But the one they kind of teased with the reveal of the one girl that dropped. Let's pull it up. Let's pull up the clip, Jim. Pull up the clip. It was maybe they did. Oh, you know what? No, I'm thinking that was somebody else. Well, look at me. Got egg all on my face. It was not. So basically, they didn't announce any new heroes. You think it would be a prime? I guess not, because they recently announced the one girl. I forgot her name. They released her maybe like a month or two ago. So I guess it kind of lines up. But either way, they announced freaking crossplay as well as Steam and Switch support There's just a lot to take in for that. But I mean, considering how successful the game has been, at least steadily, probably maybe in no way in comparison to Fortnite, but still somewhat substantial, I would assume. But it was still pretty amazing. I mean, the biggest thing for me personally is crossplay because I was ran a bit on Twitter about it slightly about man. It just seems like almost all the games announced at this EA Play straight up crossplay, which is a beautiful thing, man. Just saying, it is so damn good to see at least new games coming out. At least some of the old games getting crossplay now. You love to see it. You really do. You really, really do. Just saying. But and yeah, Switch. I'm very curious to see how that's gonna look. Cause boy, I mean, the clock is I mean, well, especially in comparison to the new generation of consoles that's gonna come out by the end of this year, the Switch is gonna start to look real ancient, at least specifically for games that are multi-platform. Of course, you know, games that are more catered or made specifically for the Switch will look obviously since there's nothing to compare it to, but yeah. I would assume a lot of the developers have to do more shortcuts and you know, yeah, really just that shortcuts and you know, trickery, deception here and there to get some stuff working and off the ground, or like drastic compromises like Overwatch on the Switch, where they had to make like drastic compromises, like playing that at 30 FPS instead of 60 FPS and stuff like that. I don't know if they got ranked yet. I think they did. I think they do currently. But yeah, just stuff like that. And then, you know, like The Witcher 3 with the just drastic changes, man. Just drastic. But they managed to fit the whole game in there. So I mean, at the same time, they found a way. So it's crazy. But yeah. And then I think they're doing some like limited timed event, I guess based around treasure, specifically finding treasure and using weapons. I saw Mirage uses this trophy, grabs and hits people with it. I think that's at least the impression I got. But really good. I think this game definitely deserves it. Have crossplay in Steam, um, which is fantastic, and that's I think another aspect that I'm curious if this maybe hints at the fact that maybe Origin is maybe slowly on its way out, or it might be something like Rockstar. Yeah, it's probably going to be somewhat the way of Rockstar, where have their they'll have their what am I thinking of? They'll still manage and you know sell their stuff through their separate store, but also still support their games and you know do what's needed throughout Steam, which is great. Because man, just mandatorily having to dedicate a launcher for games that's not launchers that aren't Steam is a pain in the ass. I mean, honestly, it'd be great if everything was just all on Steam. You know, outside of the obvious stuff like console games and stuff like that, of course. But just considering the whole ecosystem that's around Steam compared to the other game fronts, like I guess I can't even really say GOG because they've actually been doing some good stuff to try to bring all the game launchers together. But Ubi Play, I think, Origin and Rockstar. I guess those really only major ones I could think of. Yeah, it's probably the only ones I can really think of that come to mind. But you know, just saying. So So there was that um Star Wars Squadrons. That was pretty crazy. And especially as somebody who I don't really play, I'm not really like a ace combat or dog fighting spaceship fighting type guy, but at least from somebody outside looking in, that looked kind of cool. Like I was at the point, I was at the verge. I'm like, yeah, I might want to try this out, maybe give it a little try. But Star Wars Squadrons, I like the wordplay. I feel like they're trying to get people that used to play Star Wars Rogue Squadron on a GameCube and maybe like, oh, this is a sequel to Star Wars Rogue Squadron. Maybe I might be interested. Um, so it was pretty cool overall. I believe you can select like 50 customizations to your ships, and then there's like various different ships. There's, I guess, apparently trickery and management you can do with your ship, like at least from what the guy was saying, that you can like adjust your shields to make up for your behind in terms of getting shot from behind. Crazy stuff like that. um Interesting stuff though, I have to say. I have to say. They did say that there's some established characters maybe in it, as well as, you know, you can create your own character. At least that's what they showed in there as well. There also is going to be multiplayer, which is pretty cool. I mean, obviously, it wouldn't be like a Star Wars game to live out your ultimate nerd fantasies of playing Star Wars without having a dogfight and being able to tell the person you killed, suck it, what bitch, you know, would just be right. So there you go. There you go. Um oh yeah. I forgot Joseph Ferris, man. The guy who just made himself like infamous after the Game Awards 2 years ago, I think. Um was I at that one? Uh I'm not sure if I was at that one. I may have been. Darn it, I forgot. But basically, Joseph Fair is the guy that was at the Game Awards, and he's like, ah, and you know, yeah, that was pretty much it, really. Like, this is the best game ever. Promoting his game at the time, which was A Way Out. Um, he Man, they gave him the spotlight. Actually, man, they like I'm surprised. You would think, like, you know, EA, just, I guess, knowing their company, they would try to hide him, put him, just hide the hell out of his ass after what he did at the Game Awards. But it's pretty cool that they straight up embraced him, and like they straight up showed the same clip at the Game Awards and whatnot, and, you know, gave a little bit of his backstory. Like they did like a freaking mini documentary of him, which is it's funny, man. It's funny. But I respect it. I do respect it. I mean, because you got to give credit to the dude. He's just arrogant and cocky, but at least it's not too, at least from what we've seen in the public, to an annoying degree. But he seemed like, what's the best way to describe it? Like, kind of like genuinely honest. Yeah, genuinely honest and heartfelt, and like coming from the heart. You know what I mean? Where it didn't seem to be like necessarily ill intended per se, but, you know, yeah. What up, Mo? I don't know what that salam wakaloom wakaloom salamaka. There you go. There you go. I tried. I tried. Um So, oh wow, I missed The Sims 4 being on Steam as well. So that's pretty cool. I think after the announcement or the show, they revealed a lot of other games being on Steam as well. Like, what else? Titanfall 2. And probably, I think a couple of older games. Like, I think they said Dead Space 3 and some others that don't come to my mind, but I would assume Battlefield and stuff like that, which is very welcome because, at least at the time, I was one of those people. I'm like, I don't really feel like downloading a whole nother launcher to play a specific game, and then ultimately, eventually, just stop playing the game altogether. So, good on EA for the very few times of actually embracing one of the most popular storefronts there is, which is Steam, obviously. Then there's Rocket Arena. I mean, didn't really speak to me, but apparently it's just a 3v3 shooter, specifically with all the characters only using rockets. But I just got hella Fortnite vibes, which I wasn't really a fan of. Just I don't know, especially the art style. You kind of got the impression they felt like they really needed to have some resemblance to Fortnite to even like make something or have some credibility, I guess. But I would have liked if that game was more unique and I guess, yeah, just unique. It just feels like initially looking at it from trailers and stuff, like just trying to be like Fortnite. But I mean, it's like I know it's not, but I mean, like a lot of people are gonna put it under that umbrella. But at least it is free to play, and it also is gonna be multi-platform. I mean, of course, multi-platform, but cross-platform. So pretty cool. And of course, I mean, probably the biggest announcement. And one more thing, Skate 4, which is the pretty much the urban myth legend at this point, at least almost. I wouldn't say almost. That's saying that's degrading Half-Life 3, but pretty close to Half-Life 3, at least at the time before then Shenmue 3 that came to be. So pretty much the original developers of Skate 4 announced that they are working on Skate 4. They didn't say Skate 4 specifically, but I mean, it's safe to assume that it's going to be Skate 4. And it apparently is very early. So they haven't necessarily, we didn't get a full trailer or anything. But I mean, this was probably enough, especially for a lot of people, all the years of Skate 4 memes, bring Skate 4 back. Skate 4, bring my dad back. If Skate 4 is here, I'll be rid of cancer. I won't die of cancer if Skate 4 is here. If you guys, oh, that meme is funny though. It really is. I won't die of cancer if you make Skate 4. It's like, well, fuck. We gotta do it now. There's no other choice. This guy, his life is in our hands. We have to develop this game. And especially considering way back, there was something about, I think, what was it? I think one of the original devs were approached regarding the Skate mobile game or something like that. And then the guy was telling the guy that I think reached out to him like, no, that is a dumbass idea. Don't fucking do that or whatever. And then just like, just no, don't do that. Please stop. Stop what you're doing. Don't do it. Turn around in the other direction, which is not me. So, but I guess, yeah, outside of that was pretty much it. What one thing I really did appreciate, at least for people that aren't really into sports, they did like a really brief montage of pretty much all the sports games. Didn't really delve into like, oh man, these so in Madden 2021, we've improved the sweat physics to an unknown, unrenowned even level of pure poor poor engine reality. So our poor engine is going to be the most in-depth sweat engine, stuff like that. So um I appreciate that. I really hope yeah, because I mean it's not much you can really show in a sports game unless it's really significant. But I think now, in terms of our generation, at least especially going into the next generation, it's going to be really hard to decipher between between different generations in terms of seeing that notable jumping, like graphical fidelity and little tweaks here and there. So good on EA for that as well. um yeah, outside of that, pretty good solid showing overall. We didn't get, unfortunately we didn't get no burnout 4. Would have been great, but we didn't get any what else? Didn't get any EA big representation, didn't get no NBA Street Volume 4, didn't get no Def Jam fight for Atlanta, fight for Miami. It would have been cool, but I guess EA don't love us like that, you know, just blocking a blessings apparently. So it's a shame, especially considering I guess somewhat not necessarily rumors, but weird specific gauging of interest from EA's site or Twitter a while back. This might have been like as far as a year ago, where I think the official EA Twitter was tweeting like, "What would you like to see? You want to see what famous hip hop rappers would y'all want to see, yo? You want to see Big Pun beat the shit out of Fat Joe? Here you go. You want to go to Miami, or and all the Miami rap artists duke it out? Where do you want to see Def Jam Vendetta fight next?" That weird sub like police officer trying to be cool with the kids type vibe, I guess. But yeah, I'm curious what they obviously it's hard to, kind of ignore that they're trying to like get some interest and see how many people want to play Def Jam, or at least get a port or remake. But man, know how much of a nightmare that's going to be from a licensing standpoint, where all that lies in terms of the specific characters and artists, maybe artists that are no longer with their label, no longer associated with the label in general, change labels to a whole different label that's not with Def Jam, technically, I guess, even though that's still a whole nother bag, because it's like there's different labels, but I think they're kind of like, for some artists, sub labels of a main label. And yeah, just even thinking about it, trying to compartmentalize that whole thing is just a pain in of itself, and probably a safe indication that, yeah, I don't think, I mean, never say never though. Never say never though. So, but NBA Street, man, come on. Like, okay, they definitely dropped the ball with NBA Street Volume 3 and NBA Street Home Court. I didn't play Home Court too much. I actually kind of want to play that to kind of get a better idea of it, but I doubt it's not as graced and coveted as NBA Street Volume 2. But I digress. I was a big fan of NFL Street. I don't think that was as popular as you know, a lot of people wanted, but I don't know, man. Just love me some arcadey stuff. Not a big fan of the simulator vibe for games. Depending. Some things are easier to get into than others, but uh just give me anything with a big arcadey twist to it. I'll at least try it out. Maybe fall in love with it. But it's a shame. Maybe there's next year. Maybe we'll get NBA Street Volume 4, Def Jam Fight for Atlanta. I feel like that's the maybe the logical next one. Especially with a lot of hip hop rap artists are definitely based in Atlanta. I mean, in reality TV shows, I mean, that's money there. So I mean, I feel like at some point it's gotta be, yeah, that I feel like that's the logical next one. Def Jam Fight for Atlanta, or Def Jam Georgia Flats. That just does not ring at all. Def Jam Georgia, something like that. I mean, yeah, I'm giving you this free advice. I mean, you could pay me whenever you want, but just saying, you could do that. It's not too late. It's not too late, EA. Just saying, let's do it. Just do it. Yeah. So that was pretty much all EA. Pretty decent showing. I mean, obviously, Skate 4. It's definitely it's probably what saved their whole showing, if anything. So, yeah. Next topic. Of course, the greatness. Genital simulator. Um, ball physics. Cyberpunk 2077. Um, we're gonna have to hold those hold our questionable genitals for a longer time. So originally the game is set to release. Well, I think, man, it was, how many times has Cyberpunk been delayed so far? So I think it was planned to come out in April. April got moved to September 17th, and now they are pushing back the date to November 19th. So yeah. It's understandable. At least go according to her statement. I think it's safe to, yeah, I'll go ahead and just read it all. I'm gonna try to let me put my game show, not game show, but game presentation, console presentation voice in there, make it more interesting. Uh, I can't, I want to laugh so bad. I really do. We have decided. I gotta start it with, guys. We have decided to move the launch of Cyberpunk 2077 from September 17th to November 19th. Those of you who are familiar with the way we make games know that we won't ship something which is not ready. Ready when it's done. It's not just a phrase we say because it sounds right. It's something we live by, even when we know we'll take the heat for it. At the same time, we are fully aware that making such a decision costs us your trust, and trading trust for additional time is one of the hardest decisions a game developer can make. And despite we think it's the right decision for the game, we'd still like to apologize for making your wait longer. Our intention is to make Cyberpunk 2077 something that will stay with you for years to come. In the end, we hope you understand why we did what we did. At the time we are writing these words, Cyberpunk 2077 is finished, both content and gameplay wise. The quests, cutscenes, the skills, and items, all adventures Night City has to offer, it's all there. But with such an abundance of content and complex systems interweaving with each other, we need to properly go through everything, balance game mechanics, and fix a lot of bugs. A huge world at that, means a huge number of things to iron out, and we will spend the additional time doing exactly that. This week, journalists from all over the world are starting to independently play the game. We are eager, quite stressed, to hear their opinions, as well as see your reactions when they publish their previews right after we air Night City Wire on the 25th of June. We hope this will satisfy some of your hunger for the game as we work to polish it for the November launch. Thank you. Pretty legitimate explanation though. I have to give them that. Especially considering like it's like dangerously close to next gen anyway. So it's like they might as well just wait for the next gen console, since ultimately that's what people ideally are gonna want to play it on anyway. And it'll just be that weird. I mean, it'll kind of be cool to see the drastic differences between the versions, but I mean, we could just watch a Digital Foundry video anyway. But um, it I understand it, at least specifically in this area, that like, you know, they drop it in September. We're just playing it on Xbox, PS4. I mean, I would probably get this for PC anyway. This just feels like a PC game to me. So personally, I would give her the PC, but I mean, for people that don't have that option, yeah, it's just a weird proposition to be put in just playing a game like this. So yeah, in this case, I get it. If they keep pushing it back past November, then I would be a little weird. But I mean, they said the whole game is done, cutscenes, the quests, skills, items, all they're doing right now, it seems like they're just polishing. So I mean, that's cool. And then I think on top of that, they said like the complete overhaul of the tweaking and like patch for the next gen consoles would be kind of a little bit underway after that too. So I think there's going to be a slight bump, but maybe not a big one until after, you know, some time has passed and they like iron some stuff out. So I'm for it. I am for it. I really am. I really am. So, and that pretty much was all of the news for this week. Was not really notable, you know. It's not really notable. Like I said, yeah, I guess there's some weirdness about The Last of Us Part 2, but I guess it gets into spoiler territory, which thank God I've been very I've dodged the spoilers, so I just have to wait till tomorrow. So yeah. So actually a good segue for that. Actually, in terms of, let's get into what I've been up to playing game wise. I have been playing The Last of Us original, or The Last of Us remastered for PS4. That's been fun, man. Tried playing on grounded mode. I beat it on the hardest mode before that, since grounded mode came out after realistic or survival. I think survival was technically the hardest at the time, but after they dropped the DLC, I think with the Left Behind, it's called Left Behind, right? Yeah, behind the Left Behind DLC, It added additional ground mode, which is even harder than realism. Been trying to go through that, but I was like, yeah, I could probably do this before the second one comes out. No, I'm getting killed left and right. I know it'll probably be a point if I got into the groove of it, I would have probably got into it and clicked, but just knowing how long the game is in of its own, not even considering like having to play the game over again, but then freaking, you know, trial and error, dying multiple times at particular segments, even multiple segments consistently, just probably was not going to happen. So I was like, you know what? I became the bigger man, realized, you know what? Hey, this is not going to work. I was trying to, get real hyped up for Last of Us Part 2, get the final hard playthrough out the way, and, be about it, but just didn't work out, Sometimes you just have to come to that conclusion, be honest with yourself, and just, accept it and move, which is what I did. But actually, since I haven't played the multiplayer that much, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go and play some of the multiplayer because I haven't played it. And I remember it's like every time I played it, I loved it, but for some reason, I never got back to it. I was like, you know what? Let's change that. And I'm so glad I did because, man, like I was talking about on Twitter, multiplayer is so underrated, man. That does not get as much love and attention as it should, I think. Cause man, just the creativity and just the awesome implementation of the single player mechanics being placed into like a multiplayer context is pretty damn awesome, man. So yeah, I highly recommend it. Especially, I don't know, maybe if it's because of people in my same boat that are like excited for part two coming out and playing part one in anticipation and playing multiplayer. But man, there's some straight veterans in that game. But I'm proud of myself. I did held my own for the most part. I'm like level one fighting like level 999s. I'm like, all right, this might not be fun. And then I think the game has some very suggestive pay to pay to win stuff going on with some of the perks and weapons you can buy. I'm not sure if they didn't seem overpowered. I didn't notice myself like getting outright killed based off the weapons themselves and perks. It just felt like legitimately, like as a team collectively, maybe we weren't gelling, and that's the reason why I got killed. Since the game is definitely emphasizes teamwork and cooperation and stuff like that. So yeah, man, pretty great, pretty great, pretty great. Yeah, I may play some more. May play some more. May play some more. After that, of course, Modern Warfare. I mean, I even gotta have you guess. But yeah. So season 4 came out this past Tuesday. Played a little bit of it. Um, Digging it so far. I haven't unlocked any of the new weapons. I know they're normally at the like what 20, 15, 30, 15 and 30 mark in terms of your battle pass. So still got some grinding to do. Been playing Warzone with the fellas. Um, that's been great. It's been good. Always Modern Warfare is like comfort now. You just play it just to be you trying to feel cozy at night, It's that game. It's established it. I guess if we're speaking about that, kind of fall in the same boat actually is Animal Crossing. So I've actually been playing this game pretty significantly yeah, since last time. Um yeah, this game came out of nowhere actually for me in terms of I didn't think I would play it that much, but I'm actually am fairly engaged. And I think one thing I do like about the game is that it's very it doesn't demand too much of your time, which I like. And you also are meant to play it on a daily basis, which is, I don't think I've ever played a game like that before. Since this is technically my first Animal Crossing I've ever played, but I do like the kind of, like, you complete your objective for the day and then you just log out and play something else. So it's kind of like, I guess it feels like a palate cleanser at times, and then just maybe a sense of familiarity, being able to play the game, which is pretty cool. But yeah, I don't know, just some, this game just has some weird, unique appeal that just keeps me wanting to play. It really does. So I totally understand the fandom and fervor of the game now. At least I was somebody on the outside looking in, when it initially came out, everybody posting houses and, hey, I got this, you got that. Anybody got some turnips? I'm like, what are y'all talking about? I don't get it. I don't get it. I want to get it, but I don't get it. I'm a little frustrated. I don't get it, but I do want to get it. So eventually I now got it. So, and I guess maybe to help explain the game for people that might be in the same boat, at least outside looking in, it's interesting how they fragment it or lay it out. Cause like, me personally, I don't find myself really liking games that are very loose in structure, that don't have any structure at all. Like very creative games. Like that's one reason why Minecraft never really appealed to me, because I guess I don't see myself as a person that, I don't know, just want to genuinely create something that's like meaningful and like substantial. That I'm just a person that likes purpose in terms of doing something. Like, what's my goal? What's my end goal? What is something that I need to look forward to or need to strive for, to work towards that? And yeah, I just never really, games where it's more free form, like you can do anything you want. It just kind of always kills it for me. I'm like, I guess I'll build this and I'm done. I don't know. I guess okay. So I really like the balance that Animal Crossing plays in that way. It feels like the best of both worlds, where you kind of get a little bit of freedom to be creative, but at the same time there is somewhat of a set amount of objectives that essentially make you feel like you're progressing in the game, if that makes sense. Technically you could like not, you could ignore it if you want, but you gain a lot more from doing those specific objectives in the game. So like, for example, it feels like the underlying objective in the game is to fully realize your island, invite a lot more people to your island in terms of living habitats and stuff, and just overall just grow your village altogether. And to do that, you do very particular things, like you need to, what was one specific one where I was ultimately ended up building a museum by getting various bugs and fish and whatnot. After doing that, giving all the bugs to the person, we eventually grew a museum. And now any fish or bugs I get, I can donate to him and he'll put in his museum to display. Um, just stuff like that, just pretty much pretty straightforward objectives to do and feel like you're progressing in the game, which I've definitely felt so far. And yeah, just the daily aspect of the game of like just logging into the game every day just to see what's new, see what's gonna happen today. What you got for me, Tom Nook? What you gonna make me do? I gotta save somebody from this damn It's a damn gutter, whatever. I don't know. I'm making up something at this point, but yeah, just overall I'm really liking just the relaxing vibe. I think this is one of the most relaxing games I've played in a long time, where the game is just there to just wind down and kind of like be more methodical than stressed out. Which I mean, of course, the game has its somewhat stress points here and there with the damn bees and whatnot. If you don't know how to counter them, stuff like that. So yeah, I am very much enjoying Animal Crossing. I am an Animal Crossing believer now. I don't know the fan term for Animal Crossing fan, but I am definitely understand the hype, understand the joy, and I understand why people post their progress and stuff because it's great. It's a great feeling. Just growing your village from something that was very small and just you and a couple people to just seeing the growth. It's just something that just resonates with me about that, I guess. I don't know. I guess maybe because it's kind of representative of real life to an extent. Like, it's kind of like you're living out your life in a game, which is wow. It's kind of deep when I think about it that way. But I mean, essentially, that's what that game is. So for somebody that's totally never played an Animal Crossing game before, totally enjoying my time with it. Definitely plan to keep playing. Yeah, I've heard a lot of people time skipping, which is basically, you know, um given how the game is structured, it is structured where you do a set amount of objectives or whatever in a day, and then pretty much you log off and then log back in the next day. Pretty much the game is intended to be played throughout like years, months and years or whatever. So people will time skip to take advantage of that, to basically, if they want to get something done right away or get some certain things out of the way, which you can do that legitimately. And I don't think there's any repercussions to that, but I don't know. Part of me just feels like just playing the game naturally. I'm like liking the pace, and especially the fact that the game doesn't feel like it's demanding too much of my time. It's like I don't feel as what's the word? I don't feel as intimidated by the game time, I guess, because it doesn't really feel like that. It doesn't feel like there's a straight plot or story, direct plot or story I'm trying to resolve. It just feels like a day to day like game, which is weird. It's very interesting now. The more I'm thinking about it, it's like it's really making me look at games differently more than what I have so far, which is pretty cool. I feel like I'm broadening my palette in game tastes. I might as well put my pinky up because I'm above all you gaming peasants that don't know any better. Yeah, I don't know. Not that I don't trust. I do appreciate just how much this game is kind of opening my mind to, I don't know, different formats of games. But I mean, at the same time, I can't really say that because I've always generally given a game benefit of the doubt, or at least tried it if I'm interested enough. So, but yeah, that's my whole dissertation of Animal Crossing and its comparison to real life. Thanks for coming to my TED. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. All right. Um, yeah, pretty much that's pretty much all I've been up to. Play a little bit of Valorant. Now that it's out of beta, I've been trying to play a little bit of that. Get my ass whooped, but it's okay. I only play like 3 matches. Michael Jordan didn't become the man that he is by, just shooting 3 jump shots and not making them, right? So, eventually the next nade shot, you know, it's only a matter of time. I may have passed my prime for a gaming being a gaming professional, but hey, barriers are made to be broken. All right. Thank you. Thank you. And other things I've been at least watching. Black Black as fuck. Black AF on Netflix. I finally finished that. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Pretty solid. Pretty solid show. I think it's definitely very interesting for people. Uh I it's hard. I mean, I think it's you could really put it essentially in the same boat as Blackish, really. Blackish, mixedish, youngish. I think that's the whole ish trilogy, but um yeah, you really can because I think it is just a great satirical. I don't know if I want to say satirical. I think that's too strong, but a great look at what it's like to be successful in our society as a black person, which, obviously we see the negative stereotype of black people, especially in television media, but we never really see the positive side of, the trials and tribulations of black people that are wealthy and how they deal with those issues where there's those unique types of trials and tribulations and interesting dynamics and stuff, which I think the show definitely hit on a lot of those specifically. So yeah, I definitely recommend it. It's pretty quick season. I think it was like 7 episodes in total, maybe 8. No, I think it was like 6 or 7 episodes. So pretty good watch. I think each episode's like, I think they vary drastically. I think they range from like 20 to an hour, depending on the episode. But, hey. But yeah, pretty good show, I have to say. I enjoyed it. Outside of that, I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, pretty uneventful week. I mean, after it's hard to follow up with the PlayStation 5 announcement, the announcement everybody's been waiting over. There's also been rumors. I don't really want to talk about it too much because it's not concrete, but there have been rumors that the price is leaked. Talked about on Twitter a little bit that at least the disc edition, I guess standard edition, I don't even know what they call I guess standard edition for PS5 is 500 or 499, and the digital edition is 399 or 400. So honestly, that makes a lot of sense in terms of if they want to be realistic in their price point in order to get to the most people sales wise, even though we know this thing is gonna sell out kind of regardless, considering depending on the supply anyway. But yeah, very curious to see if that rumor does pan out, but don't really want to, I guess, boast it as a talking point on the show since it's not really concrete, but just something on the pipeline we heard. Hopefully the pre-orders come out soon so we can kind of lock in our investments, our savings for our kids. Our savings for our kids' college has to be on the back burner. It's just some more important things right now. So yeah. So outside of that, guys, do a little quick housekeeping. If you're listening to this podcast on your favorite podcasting platforms, wherever that is, feel free to like, rate, or subscribe. Any feedback good or bad, is always appreciated. Um, yeah, if you want to watch this show being recorded live, talk bullshit, say I ain't shit, um, feel free to catch me on Twitch TV/A Switch, where I do stream this live, generally, ideally, at like 4 to 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Can also catch the archive of the show and any other stuff I do make, archives of when I do stream on Twitch, which I do every now and then, not as much now, but every time when I feel like it, on youtube.com/A Switch. What else? Have any questions you like to submit to the show? Feel free to submit them at A Switch TV at gmail.com. I had to go into memory banks for that. Yeah. Outside of that, guys, I think that does it. Yeah. So till next time, guys, Black Lives Matter. Don't cough. Get your game on. Oh yeah.